And finally, we're getting on to some quite exciting things. Project, settings, scale, existing, new. It works like this. You can pause this and just look at the things on screen if you wish. If you don't, what we're going to do is project settings, make something, change it bigger or smaller in about one click. So to do that, I'll show you what happens. In this example, and this is no preference whatsoever, this is Manchester United Football Club in England, and here is the stadium. Now the first thing is you'll notice that project is open at 450 frames. So what I want to do is fill that as quickly as possible with a load of keyframes, and I'm going to do a spiral. And I'll show you where this is quite handy, because changing project settings will be really useful if you are going to make a mistake or change your mind later. Manchester United, he says, typing Sir Matt Busby Way, which is there. So you'll notice that we're following quite a good image here of the football club, and I'm going to put the crosshair directly in the centre circle. There we go, that'll do, isn't it? That's pretty close. So I'm setting up as quickly as possible. You're looking over my shoulder and we're learning together. So don't know if these lines are intentional here, but you can see what's happening, and you've got a lovely whatchamacallit spiral coming in here, and I'll just pause it at a moment and I'll bring it in to the end, and it goes really low actually, and I can change the angle and altitude and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. 25 seconds here is quite a long time if you're going to produce something in combination with everything else, because in your timeline, if you're committing 25 seconds just to this spiral, it might be too long. But that's a good example where you might think, oh, I wonder what this is going to look like. And what you'll notice, and I think I need to bring in the camera here, and that is you've got the viewport, which is the satellite imagery, and you've got the spiral comes in. So for the first set of the spirals, it's quite long, to 330 frames, and then you go into the second, third, and we end at the very close one. Now what you'll notice is if you click the time toggle format up here, you will go up to say 7 seconds, and you can look at it going through, and it goes through and ending at the 25 seconds. So let's say we might just go back and say this time I wanted to produce something different. So what I do with this, with my setting, rather than start again to 750 frames, I go File, Project Settings. This time I can change things, and what I'm going to do in one hit in this example is unlink the combination ratio of 16:9, and I'm going to type 800 in there because I want to do something widescreen. I'm also going to come in, and at this stage I'm going to say I want the duration to be about, say, 350 frames this time, and I'm going to type 350. 30 frames a second will be fine. I'll tell you what, let's bring it down to 24. But this time you'll notice that if I get, and watch this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll notice that if I hit 350 frames, I'm actually going to lose most of the back end of the animation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, that's fine, I love this, and I'm going to click done. This time what you'll notice when it loads up, he says, is that I've lost actually the animation. What's actually happened, look, is I've gone in and I've gone, yeah, this is lovely, look at this spiral, isn't it brilliant? But my animation ends there. There just isn't any more. I'm thinking, oh no, I've made an error. So we go back and we can undo that, and it should pop back to 450 frames, which I think, sorry, 750 frames. This time I'm going to redo, but this time, watch this. We're going to unlink again, and you don't have to unlink, I'm just being a bit clever here, and I'm going to say I want my, what did I say, let's say 300 frames, but this time I'm going to scale the existing keyframes to that new duration. I'm going to keep it at 30, and I'm going to click done, and as if by magic what we're going to find here is that our complete animation is now 300. So remember, it was pretty big before, now it isn't, but everything has scaled exactly. We're going in once, we're going in twice, we're going in 3 times, and there it ends. That, my friends, is how you do it. And so just going back here, I could keep going with this thing, but what I'm going to do is finish up here and say, look, if you use this, you either make a mistake or change your mind later, come back to File, Project Settings, and play around with the size, which is actually, let me just go down, because what you didn't notice, sorry, I didn't notice it because I set it, didn't I? And that is that if I go down to the View Mask, where has it gone? View the mask up a bit to very black. You'll notice that by changing the dimensions as well, we've gone to this quite beautiful widescreen cinema format, and that is how you do it, because you've got to know your tools. And in this tool we're using the size, link and unlink, the duration, of course the length, the frame rate, which you can't get any less than 24 anyway, but it might change things, and also the scale, existing keyframes to new duration. Remember, I've been using this for 8 weeks, and I think it was probably a good 5 weeks in before I even realised it was there, or I was occupied not to go back and to find it. So 6 minutes. See you in the next one.